Yeah.
Damn.
What is up, everybody? Yeah, we are live on, let me see. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Will's group, my group, the event Facebook group, the conference group, and my Facebook page also. So yeah, bunch
Nice.
of places people can catch us. So yeah, 5, count them. And out of and Will is also at his brand new office.
Yes.
Yeah,
Creeping in a
his
conference
third
room.
location, right?
Yes. If you don't lock your doors in your conference rooms at the casino, I will find the open one and come on here live. It's so loud out there.
Nice. Love it.
You know, it's never really quiet at a casino.
Well, let's do what we always do. Just welcome everybody in here. If you have not, please grant StreamYard the right to see your name so we can say hi to you by name. Otherwise, you're just going to be a Facebook user to us, which we still love. We just don't know who you are. So do that. And as you guys are getting in here, we'll give people a few moments to get here. We've already got, looks like almost 20 people here already, which is great. In the
Hey,
first
Paulette. Paulette's here from Texas.
Howdy from Texas. I know it is hot there, Paulette. I know it's cooking there in Texas because I'm not that far north of you, and it is hot here.
Yes, it is hot here.
Is it?
It is 102.
Oh, wow. Crystal, make us
I don't know what
sad.
it is out here, but it's always hot. So it's winter is just less hot, and summer is hot. There's no seasons here.
There's no not hot.
I mean,
Yep.
I don't know. It depends on what you think humidity does, but
That's true.
no, it's pretty hot. 90, 93. Then you add in humidity, and it's not fun.
That's
Yeah,
it.
horrible.
Now,
Hey, look, Heather's here.
Heather's here. Wendy Ryan.
Hey!
Wendy, how are you doing? That mom with the laser in the house.
Woo woo.
This is great. Christy, hello from Australia. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Susan Roycraft, hello. Awesome. Well, you're just saying that, Emily, because Crystal's on here, but we'll take it. It's okay.
Whatever.
It is okay.
She loves us all.
Yes. Christy Clark, how are you? Good to see you. Let everybody tell us where you're watching from. Some of you guys we know, some of you we don't, but what state you're watching from? What's the weather like? That's kind of our routine as we get started here. We'll chit-chat for a couple more minutes, just random, and then we'll get into talking to our all-star instructor tonight, Crystal. This is going to be a lot of fun. And by the way, we'll make her tell us about it again, but she is in a cool new studio there. So
I know. Look at that fancy little studio.
Oh,
Mine
Little
just has a
sneak
brown
peek.
wall on the back. But yours doesn't have trespassing involved, so
No,
I have that going.
I pay the mortgage here, thankfully.
well, he might be paying the mortgage.
I'm paying the mortgage here too. I already hit some of the tables, so they owe me a
nice.
room.
What's up, Robin, Matt, Shannon? Robin's Bird Brain Designs. I love that name. That's awesome. Debbie. All right. We got North Carolina, NC, right? Arizona. Got Memphis. And Wendy's in Midwest Wisconsin, and the weather's amazing. Okay, go ahead and hurt our feelings. Wendy, tell us what the weather is. What's the temperature there? I've got some family in Wisconsin, so in Beloit, probably a little south of you, I'm guessing. Danny McManus. What's up,
Danny's
brother?
here from Georgia.
Yep.
Hot.
Hey, Danny.
Hey, a second person from Australia, Carl. Thanks for joining.
Nice. Good to see you,
We got
Carl.
a pretty strong Australian contingency here.
We
Right.
They're
do.
representing well.
Shauna, what's up? Ohio, hot and muggy, 90 degrees, gross. Kathy.
Facebook user from California.
Yep. California, 88. What part of California are you in? I wonder if you're anywhere near, not where Will is now, but where Will is normally.
Yeah, because right now I am in Reno, Nevada.
In his third office, right?
Yeah, it's wonderful here. It's so quiet. Kids are eating round table, and I'm here doing the live. I couldn't miss it, so I was like, I'll be over there later.
Awesome.
75 in Illinois.
That sounds so
Not
nice.
too bad. I know. I could go for some 65. Really, cold is good.
I love when it's 65 here. Everyone is all like bundled up, and I'm like, bring out the t-shirt. I'm comfortable for once.
Absolutely. We just got a travel trailer, inherited one this year, and we went out in it a couple times, but it was so freaking hot, so we just decided we are not summertime campers. No way.
Yeah.
Too hot, man. All right, well, we've got about 55, 60 people here. It's kind of,
I know they're coming out in droves.
Oh, Crystal. Robin's asking where Crystal is. Hold on, don't tell anybody yet. We're gonna wait for just a minute, then let you talk to everybody as more people get here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Cool. We got a few more people on. This is great. So I know we'll talk about this later, but Crystal and Will, are you guys excited about the conference? I know that I am. It is. We were talking about Crystal and I were talking before we went on how we are crazy excited, and of course, as it always happens, we're crazy busy too. So trying to balance the excitement with all the work we're doing, right? Yeah. And Will is crazy busy relaxing. I'm just kidding. He's relaxing because he's been working so hard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's going to be my first trip away from the babies.
Bringing 5 kids to a casino.
Oh, that sounds awful.
That sounds like a great idea.
You might not want to go back home.
Right.
What's up,
You're
Catherine?
either going to just ignore your phone, or you're going to be on your phone constantly with John.
Right. Nah, he's good, but I'll probably come back to a whole bunch of routines ruined, but
Well, that's what you can expect from John. I mean, come on.
Although he has
That's
agreed
what dads
to,
do. Ice cream for breakfast.
Right. He has agreed to attempt to break the baby of the pacifier while I'm gone. So, I mean, more power to him.
That's great. Catherine says, win some money, Will. That's great.
Yes, I need to, because right now I'm in the hole. I'm already in the hole.
Right.
So I'm getting
got a few more people to say hi to. We got Betty here from Cottage Grove. Sorry, I'm probably going to mess up your name. Is it Renata from Tennessee? Heather says, busy us, never. Right. And Danny says he grew up about 20 miles from Crystal. He traded the humidity from Florida to the humidity of Georgia. I'm sure that's a great trade. Growth again. Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Well, we love doing these. Crystal, thanks again for hanging out with us. We love it. It never gets old. You're one of our best guests, and we love it. But today, you are a guest because we're kind of getting ready to roll into our conference here in a couple of weeks. In fact, you said something really sobering. You said you realize it's, 2 weeks from Thursday? Is that right?
That's what Heather told me, yes.
That's what Heather said. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's a few, my favorite F word was said a few times when she reminded me of how soon it is and how unprepared I feel with all of the things I have to do before. And
Yep.
We always make it happen.
Oh, so she said it's only fun 17 days away. Right? Is that the F word? I'm thinking that's the F word that Heather would use.
Yeah. Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah, a fantastic 17 days away.
Yeah, that was it.
That's usually her F word.
Well, tell you what, I've learned this from a lot of things like this. So let's not assume that everybody knows who Crystal is, because maybe they don't. Maybe they're from different groups and they're not sure. So Crystal, why don't you just take a minute, introduce yourself, kind of, here's what I'd like to hear is talk about your laser journey, where you started. I know you and I have talked about this several times, but not everybody knows. And then kind of what you're doing now. So take us from, birth all the way to now. You got about 3 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, and go. So I bought a Glowforge in, I think, 2018, 19. I never remember. It was like, it'll be 4 years ago in October, November year. So I was doing t-shirts before with my silhouette. And it was a lot of work for not a lot of pay. And, you're doing a different design on every single t-shirt, and I wasn't feeling it anymore. So I needed something different. And I bought a Glowforge. I had no idea what the hell I was getting myself into. I didn't even know it needed to be vented outside. I didn't know it needed to be cleaned. I didn't know none of that. But thankfully, I figured it out once it arrived. And the pandemic actually skyrocketed everything. And then I opened my file shop on Etsy, and that did really well, and it helped me buy my Mira 9 Eon, excuse me, Mira 9.
I'm never going to say it right. I'm just letting you know.
I know.
Yeah.
I have to correct myself every
That
single
that
time.
and my good friend Misa's name. I'm never saying her name right either. So
Yep. So I bought a Mira 9, and then last year, March and April-ish, we started the podcast.
nice.
And we are about to celebrate 18,000 downloads there.
Nice.
And we now have the studio that I'm kind of teasing behind us.
Yes.
So we'll be on YouTube mid to early August. And then I also started selling keychain thingies.
Which I bought some, and they work great. Yes.
They're so good. I will never do a jump ring on a keychain ever again.
So great. Hey, let me ask you a question for some people who don't know the details here. Were you using Silhouette when you were prior to getting your Glowforge, or how did you get into
so it's
Silhouette?
actually being able to use Silhouette with my laser was the reason I bought the laser in the first place, because I hate learning softwares. I figured out Silhouette, but there was a lot of frustrating times. But the good thing about Silhouette and using it for its purpose was there was a ton of information on using it to make t-shirts and, other Silhouette type crafts and items. And knowing that I could, because the business edition can export as an SVG, and that's what you need for laser designs. I was a lot more comfortable learning a new machine, but not also having to learn a new software. So that was the reason I felt comfortable in buying a laser at all, was because I at least had one thing down, and then I just had to worry about, learning the machine.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned a podcast, right? What is the name of your podcast? Because I know it. I've been on it twice now, I think. And Mark's been on twice.
Yep.
Right, Mark?
Yep.
So it's called the Riley Black Project. And so my business is Riley Black Designs. So we called it the Riley Black Project. And our tagline is all about lasers, life, and all the ish in between. So,
yes, that's great.
We cover the down and dirty of, trying to manage kids' life, lasers, all the different ways people have found their success. And we haven't really found a lot of like duplicates. It's been a lot of people did start with a Silhouette or a Cricut and then kind of went into lasers. But everybody has a different journey in how they found what they like to do and all that. So it's really cool to hear other people, and then also hear like their struggles and what not to do and that kind of stuff.
Well, in fact, I'm not going to put you on the spot here, but yes, I will. Who are some of the people you've interviewed lately? Because you've interviewed a ton of people.
So we just interviewed Alicia with the Laser Lounge, Alicia Pate.
Yep.
We've interviewed the Eon president, Danny Martinez.
Yep.
Jason Dory with Lightburn. My bestie is on, Heather Lynn. She's on like quarterly or every other month. I don't even know at this point. Bi-monthly, I think.
That's great.
Emily a few times. Yeah. If you pique our interest in any way, hell, if you want to talk to us and you don't really pique our interest, we'll check with you, we've talked to people even who are just doing it as their side hustle to hear like how they're doing it and, that kind of stuff. So we like to hear all of it because nobody's is the same,
Kathy said she's been a guest. Kathy Ray?
She has, yes. Yeah. Talked all about testing, of course.
Man, I'll tell you what, I'll just give a plug to her real quick. When we had her on, a couple weeks ago, whenever she was on the live.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Fantastic, man. I'll tell you what, I took a bunch of notes, and I'm hoping that I get a chance to sit in one of her classes at the conference because I really want to. She's She's a gem, and I'm so glad to
The
have
amount
had
of knowledge she has is insane.
And you know what? And she communicates it really well.
Yes.
Like it's not over the head or anything. It's
Right.
just really practical. So
Yeah.
let's kind of branch into that, because speaking of practical, you are very practical in the way that you teach. So kind of give everybody just a what. First of all, I know Will knows, but what topic are you teaching at the conference?
So I'll be covering silhouette. Shocker.
Nice.
And I'm going to show them how to make a little LED sign with the LED strip lights. So no soldering needed. And it's really a simple project when you break it down. It's just sometimes people can't figure out how to break down, the layers and stuff. And I've done a ton of them. So I've found ways that make it easier for me, and also, ways to make it like look really cool and shine on the wall if you want it to. And also make it so that, hey, if the LEDs go out, this sign doesn't need to go in the trash, or, just doesn't light up anymore. I make it so that they can replace the LED lights, down the road if they need to, if they ever go out. So
that's going to be cool. And so you'll learn how to make something that's really fun and functional, and you'll also be learning how to use silhouette along the way, which is going to be really cool. Let me say something maybe obvious, but some people have asked what they should bring with them. Definitely bring whatever device you normally design on if you can. Bring your laptop. Ideally, it'd probably be good if they could have silhouette open and mess around as you're teaching. That would be great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You don't have to if you can't. That's okay. Yeah. But bring something to take notes on, whether it be your phone, your iPad, your tablet, whatever, because that'll be really good.
Right.
That'd be great. All right. Oh, here's a good question. There's a bunch of questions. Hannah asked, how does one get on the podcast? Well, I'm sure you can shoot Crystal a message and figure that one out.
Yeah.
And I think did he get caught by the security?
That'd be funny if you did.
For those of you guys who came in late, Will is in Reno, right?
Yes.
And he's coming back there. You didn't get caught by security? We thought you did. Oh, he's frozen.
He probably just has bad.
I'm trying to get back on. I think I had bad service, or they found me and they're just trying to hunt me down.
That's great. But he just went around looking for a room to sit in. So he's in a conference room that was unoccupied at a casino. So that's where he's at. But Sharon asked a question. She said, I want to learn that, which is what you just described. If we can't attend, do you have videos on that? I'll let Crystal decide about that in the future. I
wanted to show something that I've never really showed before. I do have a really old video on my YouTube channel. It's not necessarily what I would 100% call like a tutorial. It was when I was just kind of filming projects I was making early on in my YouTube days. But it will kind of give you an idea of like how I did it years ago. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do it going forward. I think I might end up recording something and adding it to my Silhouette for Lasers course.
Yeah.
And then potentially down the line, add something onto my YouTube channel.
In fact, that's a great segue. Tell them about your website.
Yeah, so it's silhouetteforlasers.com. And it's where you can sign up for a 5-week course. And I show you all of the basics of silhouette, and where all the tools are, how to use common tools and skills like welding, curving texts, compound paths, subtracting, all that kind of stuff. And then I go through a bunch of projects, kerf, earrings, ornaments, signs, cake toppers, and then I close out with at jigs. I show them how I make jigs, and then I close out with my favorite laser hacks and tips, all my favorite Amazon items. So get your wallet ready when you watch that module. And then for the people who buy the tier 2 of the course, they get the exclusive Facebook group. And then they also get the file selling module, where it's runs how I set up my Etsy shop, and I'm almost at 10,000 sales.
Nice.
Took
Yeah,
me
yeah.
a while because I haven't been able to. The podcast kind of took precedent for a while, so I haven't had a lot of new files lately. But it's how I set it all up and my tips of what to look for, and the people who buy your files thinking that they're physical and how to help combat that and all that kind of stuff.
That's excellent. So
Yeah.
can people tell me this? Can people sign up now?
Yes, enrollment is open.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
That is great. I'm afraid to ask Will to ask questions because I don't know if he'll disappear right when he starts. But...
Yeah, I'll just keep listening. I'll throw in some every so often. See if
okay. I don't want to leave you out
because I'm in the basement. But yeah, I can attest. I've seen Crystal's course and I've seen the content that's in there, and it's amazing. So if you're looking to learn silhouette, I think it's a great course and well worth the investment.
There's Natasha, my student.
That's great. Love it.
Thanks, Natasha.
That's fantastic. We have 3 folks here from Australia right now, by the way, which is excellent. I'm glad. I don't have no idea what time it is there or even what day it is there.
Oh, Nikki's here too. Hi, Nikki.
Oh, yeah,
one
there
of the
you
best
go.
classes I've ever taken. Thank you.
That's so good. That is great. So Crystal, let me put you on the spot here for another question. What is, just I'll let you think about it. I'll say it and then I'll keep talking for a minute, so I'll give you a chance to think about it. What would you think would be one of the more common things that people ask about silhouette? Like they're using it, but they don't know how to do something. It's maybe one of those questions that you answer quite often. What is one or maybe 2 that comes to mind that people ask often?
So,
And I bet you that this is common among all of the programs, not just silhouette, but
right. So one of the first issues I had, and one of the first issues that I've seen others have, is when you're coming from using the silhouette for vinyl and using it then for engraves and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
When you make something a compound path on your screen, so say it's like a circle within a rectangle or a square. When you make it a compound path in silhouette, that inner circle will go away, and you're good to go if that's what you want for cutting vinyl, because you're just cutting out the lines. It doesn't matter, what is negative space or not. Well, what I found out the hard way was if I sent that to my Glowforge or my Eon and tried to engrave without that circle, it would try and engrave the full rectangle.
Okay.
And so the thing that you need to do differently to combat that is you actually need to subtract that circle from the rectangle. And the file will look exactly the same on your screen. And that's what can be tricky, is that it's not. When you send that other subtracted section to your laser, it now will look and engrave properly. So that's one of the main things I think that a lot of us silhouette for vinyl to silhouette for lasers people kind of get hung up.
That's really good.
And then what else? I had another one.
In fact, Kathy says, yeah, I found that out the hard way.
Yep, we all do. Oh man, I had another one.
Well, while you're thinking, everybody, if you guys use silhouette and you have some questions, it's going to be kind of tough for her to answer in this context here. But go ahead and drop the questions anyway, and we'll see what we can do with them. Because a lot of times, when you don't have a computer in front of you, it's kind of hard to describe how to do it, but you can give it a shot.
Yeah. If I have another one, I'll keep thinking, but it'll come to me as soon as we're done.
Oh, absolutely. And should we wrap it up right now then? Just
to push it up further.
Right. That's great. Will, welcome back, Will. Good to have you again.
Yes, it's definitely cutting me in and out. So I was just listening. Like I can hear the whole
Welding
time.
is a good one. So,
yeah.
So this wasn't the one I had, but here's a good one. So welding a name, especially if it's a pre-purchased file. So say you buy, like I have Easter tag. I just actually put a YouTube tutorial out on something similar. But when you're welding a name to a pre-made shape,
Yeah.
you need to make sure that that shape is a compound path before you weld the name. And so you can make it a compound path by, subtracting that inner shape if you want, but you need to make it a compound path before you try to weld the name, because if you just weld it to either that inner circle or the outer shape, it'll just disappear. And we're like, oh, what's going on? Why isn't this working? I've done it a million times.
All the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I still do it, and I know that that's how it works.
But now you know what's happening.
Right. Yeah.
That's really good. And if that's happened to you, let us know in the chat. It's happened to me I've used Illustrator, Silhouette. I mean, it's the same problems.
Right.
I've had that happen all the time. And my favorite time when that happens is when I'm doing it live, like on a
right. And you're like, oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. At least on my videos, I can back up and do it again. But live, you just have to do it.
Well, and so in my course, there's some of that stuff that I cut out, but some of that stuff I left in on purpose because I wanted to show them, like, even me who is teaching you how to do this, and I've been using it for I don't know how many years at this point, I still make those mistakes. And so I want to show them, without confusing them, I want to show them, like, hey, even I screw this up sometimes.
Yes.
We all do it.
Yeah. I think that's important that that everybody knows that everybody makes mistakes all the time. Like I just shared a picture the other day of my floor in front of my Glowforge and all the crap that's on the floor,
Right.
I mean, it eventually gets cleaned up, but not really soon, like not every day like it should. It does not. But yeah, everybody goes through that, or people thinking that that we don't waste material when we're making something. Oh, that's not true.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
I forget to put 3M before cutting on all the time.
Yep.
All the time. I put 3M over my masking. That was fun.
I'm surprised I haven't done that yet.
Yes, I ran my laser last week and forgot to connect the exhaust hose, so my warehouse filled up with smoke.
I forget to open it. I forget to close it.
Here's a question for both of you. If something comes to mind, what is one of the most expensive mistakes you've made related to your laser? That is, I don't mean going gambling. Yeah, right. I don't mean that.
So mine is undercharging for something that I think is going to be simple. That's been my most expensive, is honestly my time, because I'm really bad at underestimating how long something's going to take me to do.
Yeah.
And I'll do that on the wrong project, and it'll cost me me some money.
I think that's the biggest one for a lot of us, right? It's we tend to, or we work on something and it doesn't have a good enough return on investment, right? So it takes me 3 days to get it right, and I made $30.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I wasted 10 hours to make $3 an hour. So I think that's, for me, I don't know. I don't do really, really big projects. So as far as making a mistake on like a big piece of material, but as far as like pricing wise, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
I know.
How about you, Mark?
Well, for me, boy, I've had a lot. I think it's a combination of what Crystal said, time, and I think I've started I don't know, when I had just my Glowforge, I'd start doing like a bunch of awards on a whole piece of material. And I've done this several times, actually, embarrassingly. It'll be like a 4-hour project. And then when I finally get it all done, I realize I had the wrong settings the entire time. So it didn't work. So even though the piece of acrylic wasn't all that expensive, I lost all 4 hours or whatever.
Right.
And then on top of that, I've done that at the end of the day when it was due the very next morning.
Oh yeah. Totally.
And I did it with my last piece of acrylic. So
yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah, my last one.
Right.
At the end of the day, 3 or 4 hours, and it's hosed, right?
Yep.
And so I've had to say, I had to tell the person, hey, can you give me another however long I got to do it? That's probably one of my biggest ones. I'm trying to think of any more. There's a lot, though. I just, like a lot of us, my brain just falls out of my head sometimes.
Totally, all the time, daily.
Yeah. I was doing a 4-foot sign I just finished today, and I was doing it on the Mira 9, right? And so I had to layer a bunch of things together.
Right.
And I ran an entire bed-sized piece. What is that? Basically 2 feet by 3 feet.
Yeah.
I ran the entire thing. It's supposed to be 1/4 inch, but I ran it at 1/8 inch settings. And of course, I picked it all up, took it out before mother fun.
Mother F word
Mother
that
fun.
Heather uses.
Yes. Right. But I mean, I know that you technically can figure that out and fix it, but that's not the point. It was
Right.
really frustrating. So
Yeah.
I think
I was just
I
gonna say
found
Lightburn has that fancy feature, but
I haven't done it yet.
you don't really want to learn that, at the last minute or, whatever.
Right.
It's there, but you don't want to use it necessarily.
Oh, I'll tell you one.
One financial one. Now that I think about it, is I order stuff overseas, and they'll tell you something is good quality. They'll send you the perfect sample. They'll tell you it's laser safe. You get it in, you test it yourself, and it isn't, and then you fight hard for a long time to
Get your money back.
return 5,000 units of something.
Oh.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, I'm still in the middle of this one, so that's a big one. That one ate up a big chunk, chunk.
Kathy's got a great one. She said she's learned to use a weeding tool or a wetting
I
tool.
use Gorilla Tape.
Yes, I use that all the time. But here's the crazy part. I know that,
And
then I don't do it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's not so much the knowledge, it's the just doing it, right? Absolutely.
Yep.
Go ahead and tell everybody. There's a lot of questions over here about where your Etsy shop is.
Oh, so it's Riley Black Designs.
Okay.
On Etsy, RILEY.
Okay. Riley Black Designs.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. So what I know Mark's question we ask a lot when we have designers on is we go through their Etsy and we have them pick their favorite design, which is always a difficult one for people. But since we're not doing that, you have your.
I was going to say, you
I'm
might
gonna
want
give
to be
you something
careful
harder.
about putting mine on the screen.
Oh, okay. And Mark stops. Go ahead.
You have your designs. You have.
I mean,
your
they're blurred out,
courses.
Mark, but I just in case.
Yes, they're fun. They're the best files out there. I've purchased a few. So you have your podcast. You're going on YouTube. You do courses. You do file designing. Which is your favorite?
Oh man.
Ooh, that is a good question.
Oh, that's hard. That's a tough one. I love them all differently.
Just like your children. Yeah, I know. Stop.
It is. It's like a bunch of little children. I'd say the podcast, I think surprisingly I'm loving a little bit more because that doesn't, beyond booking guests and like reaching out to people, maybe like certain people that I'm like nervous to reach out to, them to say no or not know who I am or, whatever. But beyond that, it's just a phone call, like talking to people. And John has to do the hard stuff of like editing the podcast and uploading it and all of that. So I'd say the podcast is probably, because it's one that kind of comes most natural.
Yeah.
I love making designs, but I don't like all the before and after, the cutting it, taking pictures, testing, fixing, testing,
writing descriptions. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Listing the file. It takes so much, no matter how many times you do it.
It does.
And like the keychain thingies, I love those because they help people and they're awesome. But when you're really tired, some days you don't really want to fill an order, like fill several orders. Yeah. So I think I love the podcast right now is kind of my top, but I love them all differently for sure.
Right. We're not going to tell each one that you don't love them. It's okay.
Right.
It's
And
all right.
so actually I lie. The course, I really love that I'm able to help people get more comfortable and struggle less in making their designs and making something that maybe they can't even find, so they can't go buy it. I love getting people more comfortable with their software and making just that part of it less stressful.
You see Christy's comment here. That's so nice. That's great.
Yay, thank you. I love it. I love that people love it. I had the most anxiety because I just have anxiety about everything. But I had the most anxiety in the beginning of like, um, are people gonna like, hearing about like when we talk about our family and when, we talk about like inappropriate things and, we joke and make fun of and Heather's accent and that kind of stuff. But like, I realized that I really just, as soon as I was me without worrying about who may not like it or who would, that's when it really became something that I just didn't worry about. And then I just focused on enjoying it because, if they don't like it and it's not for them, that's totally okay. But the ones that enjoy it and get, great information out of it, those are the ones that, that I'm talking to. So
that's great. That's great. And I think that speaks to everybody somewhere here is just
be you.
Yeah, that's right. And finding the place where you're comfortable being who you are, right?
Exactly.
Because no matter what you do for a living, I know not everybody here does lasers full time, and that's awesome. That is great. But a lot of times we can get caught in that weird, lots of terms for it, but comparison trap, like trying to be like somebody else.
Totally.
And that's a dangerous ditch that we've all been in. I know I have, I'll just call it like it is. There's a lot of great designers out there that I think are way better than me.
Totally.
I mean, wait a minute. What do you mean totally?
Yeah, totally.
No, but I mean way better than me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, hell, Mark, I see you when you put out new files and you have the video tutorial that goes with it and the documentation and all of the, I wish I could be you as far as that goes,
well,
but I just don't have it in me,
But see, you do, but I really, to that point, you do other things that you do really well. And I think a lot of that is you kind of finding your niche, finding the things that bring you joy, finding things that make you happy, right? And as much as we've all got to do stuff that we don't enjoy,
right?
But at least minimizing those as we go along, right?
Yep.
No matter where you guys are in your laser journey, there's always going to be things you don't enjoy, but hopefully you can start either just giving that job to somebody else or
outsourcing it or
slowly just getting rid of it entirely. I've talked about it several times of how over the years I've stopped doing things that I just simply didn't enjoy because it made me money, but I didn't like it.
Well, I mean, that's me with wood. I don't enjoy working with wood anymore. I realized that I really enjoy working with acrylic.
Yeah.
And since I've stopped working with it, that stress of, because those were the projects that you procrastinate until the end. And that's when the wood isn't cooperating or the stain isn't cooperating or you don't have any more of that wood and now you can't get any more of that wood. So that was one of the few things that I stopped doing. And if I can't convince them to do acrylic, then I send them to one of my friends who absolutely love working with wood, and they'll probably get a much better product from them because they're not, cursing at their machine the whole time saying, why isn't, all of that. Cause I didn't like the sanding, the prepping, the painting, sealing, all of that. So
in fact, that brings a question to my mind. I want to ask both of you because I'd love to hear Will's thoughts on this and Crystal's as well. Competition, people that are doing the same thing you're doing. Let me kind of frame this a little bit. I know that there's always the comparison trap, like when you're looking at competition. Oh, I wish I was as good as this person. I wish I did this as good as that person. But there's also just I don't know if I can succeed because there's so many competitors, or there's somebody in my town or somebody in my space or whatever the case may be. Will, I'll throw it to you. I'd love to hear Crystal's too. What are your thoughts on competition now versus maybe a couple of years ago? Has that changed? Has your thought process changed when you look at competition? Talk to us about competition for a minute.
Definitely. It used to consume me when I first started getting into more so the blanks than the physical product, because what I do physical product wise, just the engraved cutting boards, there wasn't really a ton of competition in my area. But with the blanks in the last year and a half, I've seen it go from, a few of us to a lot of us.
Yes.
And it definitely consumed me in the beginning. What is so-and-so doing? Who's doing this? Who's selling what where's the price at? Where's this? And it took more energy, and there was nothing I can do to control that. So it was just a waste of my time in a lot of ways, right? And then I changed my mentality to just say, you know what, I'm just not going to focus on my competitors at all. I'm going to focus on my customers, give the energy to my business, give the energy to my customers. And, you know, it's worked out way better that way. I don't have to worry about them. You know, there's enough room for all of us to succeed. Doesn't mean that I don't want to, you know, do well. I'm competitive. I want to be number one. That is definitely a goal. But the way that I see myself getting to number one is focusing my energy where it could help grow my business versus putting my energy to something that I have no control over, right? Let them run their business their way. I'll run my business my way.
Well, the more time you spend worrying about them, the less time you're worrying about your own business.
Yeah. And, you know, it's really what it is. It's no matter what, you know, if they can copy, they can sell the same things. I can sell the same things. That really nothing I say or do is going to change it. Only thing I can do is give more value in what I do to my customers that will keep them loyal, right? So if it's more tutorials, if it's free jigs, if it's better customer service, if it's faster shipping, whatever I can do to please my customers more is just putting me a leg up. So I've given up even looking at what they do. I mean, occasionally you see it because you see it in all the groups.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I focus on what I do.
It's
just easier that way.
Will, you do such a good job. You both do such a good job. Again, leaning into who you are, your personality, the way that you do business, the way that you interact. I see that Emily said people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And I think you both do that really well. And you both are. I wish I had a more flowery way to say this, but you're who you are. You're comfortable with it, and people are comfortable with that.
Right.
You know, Crystal, talk to us more about competition. What are some of your thoughts there?
I mean, so when I started selling like those little keychain thingies, I started selling them because I couldn't find them anywhere. And so I was like, well, and then I saw how many other people wanted to use them and couldn't find them as well. And you know, now there's 1 million people who sell them, and that's totally fine. Like again, if they sell other things that it makes sense for them to sell it with as well, that, you know, and some of them sell it cheaper, some of them sell it and it's more expensive. I do think I have the most options, but you know, right. But you know, again, like I said when Will was talking, if I sit here and worry about what everybody else is doing, that means I'm not focusing on my own business and ways that I can do it better and ways that I can get them, you know, coming back. So little things that I did, and it's not necessarily like against competition, but I just make sure that my packaging is on point. I put little scratch tickets in. Heard some noises over there.
That's me. I'm looking around too.
Right. This is a new area. I don't normally hang out in here, especially alone. So there's new noises I'm getting used to.
That was just the dryer going off.
Probably. But I put little like scratch tickets in there that they can scratch off, and there's, you know, discount codes for the next time that they shop with me. And so I focus on things like that in order to make like the experience better. You know, I'm there if they have questions at any moment. So I just try and I focus on the customer service part, and then I hope that in turn turns into word of mouth and happy customers who then tell their friends, or, you know, when they see a post, where do I get these, that, you know, I'm one of the names that they drop. So
yeah, I think another thing too, I mean, just for the three of us here and a lot of the ones who are really successful, is we're not just on I'm not trying to take a jab at anybody, but we're not just on there selling. Right. We're not just selling files. We're not just selling keychain things. We're not just selling blanks.
I actually
we're active in the community. Right? Yeah. We're active in the community.
I mean, so this is like, sorry to interrupt you, but I've told Will about this, you know, a couple times, of how I struggle with selling myself and spamming. Like, putting up posts about my course and putting up posts about the keychain thingies. Like, I don't ever want people to feel like I just want their money. You know what I mean? But I have to post about it for people to see it, to know it, to want to have it. So I do not enjoy that part, but unfortunately it's part of a business. If I don't, put it out there, no one's going to know about it. But it's something I don't like doing. If you see a selling post from me, just know a little bit of me died on the inside, but I have to do it for my business.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, right? We try to be active in the community. We're helping where it needs to be helped. Just like with anything, right? When they say, if you really want to reach more people, teach more people. If I post a sales post, it'll get some traction. But if I was to post something to help that potential customer learn something or become more efficient in their business, that's going to actually help my business more. Right. We're all vested in all of these users' businesses, right? We're kind of like that fiduciary, right? If they do well, we do well.
Yeah.
So I think we take that to heart, that we want to see you succeed, because us helping you succeed without expecting anything in return.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then it just kind of pays itself forward. So, I mean, everyone that we have coming to the conference, everyone that we've spoken to, we've had, on your podcast or on these lives, are people who are in the community who want to help, right? Who want to see other people succeed. And I think that's what separates the good from the great, right? It really is, because we can all, there's better designers. There's people who sell the exact same blanks who are cheaper, right? Then what sets us apart, and what sets the good people apart is the ones who genuinely care about the people. So.
And one thing that I obviously stole from somebody else, but community over competition.
Yeah.
That's just been something that I did not feel when I first started, because I was worried about, money and putting food on the table. But I started realizing that ultimately I want to love what I'm doing and love the people I'm doing it with. And so I've just started leaning into community over competition. And as a lot of you guys know, I interview a lot of my competitors on my live stream, and I tell you how to find their stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Because different strokes for different folks, and and I'm interviewing one of my competitors who is a good friend, Josh Wenning, tomorrow, and he does the same thing I'm doing. But I don't care, because he's a good guy and he takes care of people, and he spends a lot of time, helping and doing tutorials and things that don't pay him back, but he's helping the community, and I want more people to know about him. And it's the same thing for you guys too. I know it is.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Really good.
So someone asked what keychain thingies are.
Yes. Here, I'm gonna put you full screen so people can see that when you're doing it.
Yeah. So it's this little plastic tab. There's 1,000,001 different names for them. So that's why I named them keychain thingies, because it's really just the best way to describe them. But so you put the split ring in here, and then you make the hole big enough in your design so that can go in, and then you clip it together like that, and it replaces jump rings. Now, this is especially helpful like when I was making keychains for my consignment shop that I had at the time, and I was making 75 to 150 keychains, and it took me a long time, like usually a couple hours, to do the jump ring. And by the end of it, my hand was cramping, and I was like, screw this, keychains suck. And I was selling them like dirt cheap because I was just using my scraps. So I think I was selling them for like $5 tops. And I'm like, is this really worth it if I'm spending this much time assembling them and demasking them? So they really they make life so much easier.
Well, I just want to say thank you to you, because I got some from you last week, I think.
Yeah.
And we're going to be rolling out a new product that we couldn't do without it, or at least we didn't want to do without it.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And
awesome.
Let's talk about they're not expensive either. How much do they cost?
So it's $16 for 100 of them plus shipping, which is typically about like $5 if you just get one.
$20. Okay, let's call it $20.
Yeah. So it's like, I think, what does that come out to? 20 cents?
Yeah, it's
5 cents each.
Yeah. So, and you add that into your cost of your product, and then like relax with the time savings and the cramps you don't get in your hands from trying to do the jump rings, and it's so worth it.
It's great. They're really. Oh, he's getting booted. Is he getting booted?
Oh, okay. Thank you. I guess they had another event in here, and the lady was looking for her staff, and apparently I'm not her staff, so
Like,
she let me go. She's not hotel staff, not hotel security. It was just
Emily with the
event
eyes.
organizer. Yeah, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say.
So funny enough, because of customers like her and a few of my other customers, I had to add a 500 count and 1,000 count listing to my website for keychains, because I mean, there's some people who go through that many. So it's currently sold out, but it'll be up soon because I just got my order in. But time. I haven't had time to count out.
And Catherine's asking, where do we get those? I did post the link in the chat. You might have to scroll back a little bit. I'll post it again here in just a second.
It's super easy, though. Keychainthingies.com.
Right. I posted the actual link to the individual page. Yeah, right.
That works.
Well, that's great.
I'm so glad you do that, because people have asked me to carry it, and I refuse to sit there with a bag putting 1,000 in. But I'll leave that to you.
I've found ways to make it quicker, but it's still... Yeah, it's not fun. Even with my easier ways, but I got it down to a system now. So I do it at night while watching TV. And
man, how many amazing businesses have been built at night watching TV? I know. Yeah. By weight, Robin's Bird Brain says that I'll go ahead and talk about this for a second. I used to own a paintball field. And it was so much fun. We made no money, but it was the most fun I've had in a long time. And we would have to bag up 100 balls at a time, hundreds and hundreds of Ziploc bags of these, and we do it by weight. And my wife and I would watch Star Trek. It was our favorite, back in Next Generation. Watch Star Trek and bag paintballs all Friday night, Saturday night. It was a thing. And when you're building your business and you're just working from dawn to dusk, right? And you look back, and those are not bad times, even though they were hard. They're not bad.
Is that my husband that says I'm her system?
I think so. That's either your husband or your son. It's one of those two.
No, I don't he wants to. He will be soon. He wants to. But I'll be like, because I do weigh them. And I'm like, just put a couple in. And then he'll put 30 and 40. And I'm like, no.
That's awesome. That is great.
Yeah, John.
That's awesome.
I knew it, even though it said Facebook user.
You should teach him how to use StreamYard.
You should.
He is the tech guy too, so you would think he would get his name on there.
So we've also been talking. I might be teaching him how to use the laser as well.
Oh.
So even though he's on our laser podcast, he's never he used to help me clean. And it was funny. I cleaned my machine myself last week, and he was like, "What, have I been fired?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. I hate cleaning my machine. You can have that job anytime." But so we're gonna try and we're gonna teach him how to use the laser so that we can, if we want to do some tumbler orders or those kind of things. So
John's not
another person who knows.
John's not just to be arm candy anymore, right? He's
exactly
be worth something.
Put him to work.
Right.
I know. You can only survive on those good looks for so long.
Right. The beard only takes him so far. He pulls my orders too. Oh, that reminds me, babe. You screwed one up the other day.
Oh.
You just called him out on video. That's horrible.
Nice.
Sorry, John.
So John has has he had a beard the whole time you've known each other?
Yes. So funny story about that.
I wonder, do you know what his face looks like for real?
I do, and I don't like it. So for Halloween a couple years ago, we were trying to decide what costumes we were gonna do, and everything we kept finding needed face painting that we kept leaning towards. well, face painting with a beard, like, doesn't really, like, the two don't mix. And so he shaved, and it was immediate regret on my side. So much so I didn't even really enjoy kissing him. And then, especially when it grew back in, it was uncomfortable and like, yeah, no. So he's not allowed to shave completely anymore. It's got to be at least, I do like a short one.
Yeah.
But zero is not an option.
That's fantastic. My wife would probably say the same thing, at least at some level. But I do look a lot younger.
He does, but like, yeah.
It's just not right. It just
no, and it's probably because, like, I mean, it's just how I know him, and it's what I'm used to. But yeah,
sure. That's awesome.
It's got to stay.
Well, we got.
Sorry for putting all your business out there, John. Sorry.
Yep. That's great, and this is recorded.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, so before we go, we got a couple more things. I want to make sure if anybody got here late, Crystal, just tell them again where they can find your silhouette classes if they're not going to the conference.
Yeah, so silhouetteforlasers.com. And I also have a free group, Silhouette for Lasers, on Facebook. So that's where you can go and, ask questions, suggest tutorials and stuff that you want me to do. So yeah, that has all the information on, what you get, how it works, the two tiers, which the question I get pretty often about my class is if tier 1 and tier 2 are the same class, and they are, except that tier 2 has bonuses.
Okay.
But you don't have to like take tier 1 and then take tier 2. They're basically the same, but tier 2 just has some extras that and some perks. So
now here's one question too. I'll ask this because I'm sure people have asked. If they took tier 1 and said, you know what, I now wanted tier 2, is there an add-on?
So funny you say that. Someone asked Emily for that today, and we were talking about kind of, brainstorming between the three of us how to handle that, and considering adding an offer to where they can upgrade. So say they want access to that Facebook group, or now they want the file selling bundle, file selling module. And I also include a bundle of my best-selling designs as well. So I will consider, if people are interested in bumping up. I will say that about probably 90 to 95% of my students have just gone straight to tier 2. So right now my tier 1 audience is small. It's on the smaller end. But yeah, if anybody is interested, just reach out to me if I haven't put that out there yet.
Yeah, so don't dip your toe in the water. Just jump all the way in.
Right
go to tier 2. There's no point in waiting.
And let's
go get it all.
And let's ask the question. I know the answer, but where can they find your podcast? Pretty much everywhere, right?
Yeah. So it's the most popular way to listen is on Apple Podcasts, but we're also on Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts, if it's an app on your phone or whatever. And then in a couple weeks, you can actually watch us in our new studio on YouTube. And that's the YouTube will be my Riley Black Designs YouTube. It'll just be a separate playlist.
Excellent. And if they want to support you, I'll just go ahead and say it because you probably won't. But you can find her on Patreon too.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And support her. I am a proud supporter, and you should be too.
Will is too.
I think I was number 1. I was the first.
You were number 1.
Yep, that's awesome. I was not number 1, but I did it as soon as I found out about it.
You did, and
yes,
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I mean, I told you both. I was like, it's the level that you guys signed up for was for the files, and you guys don't need the files, or maybe even necessarily want them. But like, hey, so that means even more to me, knowing that I have a lot of people who sign up for the more expensive one and just don't even need or want the perks, and they just do it to support. So,
and that's exactly where our heart is.
I have a special place in my heart for all of you guys who help. Because I mean, if if people don't know much about podcasts, we don't make a lot of money. It's literally a couple $100 a month, you know, and that's only by the people who pay and choose to be a patron every month. So it's a lot of it is for free, but it's to help and to eventually grow it into bigger and better things. But
that's great.
Can I make a big donation to get John to shave on your first YouTube show? Oh, that'll be a tough dilemma for you.
That's going to be a lot of money. How much money you got?
I don't have any.
Okay.
You better come get it out of the
casino.
better come get it out of the slot machine.
Yeah, so on the first one, I'm gonna politely say no on that one, but maybe on like the second or down the road,
but
all right,
I'm
gotta
open
say
to it if it's for money, but
it depends on how much money.
It.
Depends on how much money, right?
Yeah,
money talks.
That's
money
awesome.
talks.
Exactly.
So Catherine says she's new to podcasts, so can we support you? I'll say absolutely. In fact, Crystal, I don't have it on the screen, but how can they find out where to support you?
So I'll I think on it's Patreon, so Patreon.
Yep.
And then I think you can search from there, and then you'd search for the Riley Black Project. And then that has all the tiers. And so like the bottom tier is $4 a month, and that gets you early access to the podcast. So you get to listen to it on Friday when everybody else doesn't get to listen to it until Monday. Yep. And then there's the tier where we give you a shout out every month. And then there's the tier where you get files. And then there's what we call the show off tier, which is $25 a month. And that's literally just, it's all the other tiers, but you just get bragging rights. And it's just that little extra support, if you choose to. Yep, there's the link.
And by the way, I'm going to say this. I'm sure you won't mind me saying it, but I'm going to say this for everybody else as well. I mean this because I told you this when I said to put the amounts, right? The amounts of what you're asking for. I said, put bigger numbers out there because sometimes there's somebody that wants to say yes to that.
Yeah.
And I will say that to everybody out there, no matter what you're doing, don't assume what's right for somebody else. Go ahead and give them options to give more, $5, $10, $20, $50, whatever.
Yeah,
and
when we were choosing, I was telling John, I was like, should we do a $12 one? And he was like, I don't know, if anybody's going to sign up for that. And I'm like, well, they can't if it's not there.
Right.
And then I did that. And then almost everybody signed up for the $12. And I'm like, oh, see?
Yeah. See?
And then, the $25 one. And I was like, if no one buys it, it took, 5-10 minutes out of my day.
Right.
And then 2 or 3 people signed up, and upgraded immediately. So if you don't put it out there, people can't buy it.
That's right.
And then I will say those are the ways to support us financially. But the ways to support us, like not, free, is liking, sharing, subscribing, tell your friends. If you see one of my posts come up, like it so that I don't cry every time I post and my post goes and dies on the feed. But yeah, so there's tons of free ways that you can support all of us as well if it's not something that you can do financially.
I love it. I have to put this one on here, and then I'm going to let Will talk about something. But hey, there you
Thanks,
go.
MJ.
That's awesome.
Are we just assuming she's talking about? Are we just assuming that MJ's just talking about Crystal? That's kind of a. Yes. I thought it was for Mark originally.
Well, I mean,
she said, "Oh, girl." So.
Well, we say you guys when we talk about just groups of people. So it could have been me.
Yeah.
Hey, so all right.
Could have been.
So this
and if you guys want to meet Crystal, she's going to be at the conference in Sacramento, August 12th through the 14th, teaching her class on silhouette, but also just getting to know her. Right? You see everything that she's dipped her toes into. You want to be someone around people who are successful and are diversifying what they're doing and having all these different revenue streams. I'm sure you can pick her brain and find out some new things and definitely take that information and run with it. So Mark posted it up Mark there. He posted the link down there for the conference. We are 17 fantastic days away.
Yes. Tickets are still available. You can come join us if you haven't. It'll be great. And I will say the classes are going to be fantastic. They're going to be absolutely great. And I think just the time spent with people who are like-minded is going to be priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to just staying up as late as I can to just talk with people and get to know people. And I'm really looking forward to that as much as anything. So it's going to be really great.
I know when we met the first time, we were sitting in the lobby of a hotel, and I think we talked till like 2 a.m, just about everything. So we don't.
And then we realized we were old and had to go to bed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, take a look at the Next Level laserconference.com. There's tickets still available. We're getting close here. So I would say, by the end of the month, we want to make sure to get all those tickets covered so that we can make sure to get all the classes set up, everything lined up for you guys.
Awesome.
We will, since I'm here illegally trespassing at the casino, I don't have my laptop. So tomorrow I will go live in the morning, and then we'll play the recording. But I will spin the wheel multiple times for
tell people
tickets.
If they're new, tell them what that's about.
So get your tickets tonight if you're interested in going. We will do a drawing tomorrow, and everyone who already has a ticket will be entered into the drawing to win their ticket price back. So you will get your ticket price refunded to you.
Yes.
So, but it's only for people who have tickets. So if you were considering doing it, you have an extra day now, because we usually do it on Monday nights, but no computer here. So get those in tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll go live in the groups. I'll have my computer up. We'll do the drawing. So, and we'll be drawing multiple names since we missed it the last couple of weeks. So get your tickets in there. And I mean, if you're going to get one, there's no point in waiting until Wednesday, because you only get into the drawings for when you're in. So get them now. Take a look at the website. Look at who the presenters are. You'll recognize all those names because they're all within these groups helping people every day.
That's right.
So
that is right. Every one of them.
That's every single one of them are valuable members of this community who want to share, right? Just with like everything that Crystal does. If you look, there's one thing that ties it all together: is it's helping people in their laser journey, connecting people, supporting them. So, and that goes with all of us that are coming to this conference. So,
and I'll also say that we've interviewed all but one, all of the instructors, and all of the videos. If you missed them, they're all available. You can go back and watch them on wherever you're watching it now. The rest of them are there too, so you can go back and watch them. Right?
Yep. We have one left, and that's Amanda from Cerulean Tides. So.
One last straggler, Amanda. No, it's gonna be good. All right. Anything last you guys want to say before we go sign off tonight? Everybody good? All right.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Guys, thank you so much. If you have any questions about this, still, you're welcome to leave comments. We will do our best to keep up with it even after we're live, after we go off here. And make sure that if you have any questions about the conference, you let us know. Go and subscribe to Crystal's, everything that Crystal does. Subscribe and buy it all. And we will see you guys in the groups. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Have a great night, and we will see you guys again soon. Take care. Crystal, hang on a minute. We'll talk to you in a second.